Hey guys, it's Core Ross and welcome to Bustin' Rainbow Six Siege. Today we are Mythbusting Zero, otherwise known as Sam Fisher, coming with Operation Shadow Legacy. So Sam comes to Rainbow Six Siege with the SC3000K, the MP7, the 5.7 USG, frag grenades or claymore, and he's a 2 armor operator. And his gadget is very Splinter Cell themed, but of course with a siege spin on it. So he's going to have launchable cameras that you can shoot out of a little device, and this will actually go through soft or reinforced walls and be able to see on either side, which is really cool. Although I will point out that Sam is the only one who can actually switch those cameras from one side to the other, and he can't do it when he's dead, of course. So if you're playing Zero, make sure your cameras are switched to the correct side of the wall so your teammates are actually able to see what you want them to see. Now these cameras come with a bonus, and that is that they can fire a single laser each, and this will destroy gadgets or potentially kill someone as well. But it only does 5 damage to players. Now I have seen plenty of people compare this laser to the Twitch drone's taser, but it's not a perfect comparison because the Twitch drone can disable some gadgets that this laser has no effect on. And a great example is this one here with Melusi's gadget being disabled by Twitch's drone, which leads us into our first myth. Can Zero disable Melusi's gadget? Well, no, because actually the lasers from this work much more like Maestro's turret lasers than the Twitch drone. Because it only does damage, that means anything that is immune to damage, like Melusi's Banshees, do not get destroyed. So that is busted. So the next myth is, can Zero destroy Maestro's turrets? So first of all, we'll just start by answering the question, can Maestro destroy Zero's? Yes, he can. It actually takes a few shots, which is kind of surprising, but Zero cannot destroy Maestro turrets unless they are open. This can happen from a Thatcher grenade or a Twitch drone, or of course Maestro might open them himself, but you certainly can, but you only have one shot, so you do need to get it perfect. So I'm going to say this is plausible because it does include some extra steps. Then we've got Zero can counter Vigil. So we're going to have a look through the camera here. There's Vigil and he disappears. You can also see the static at top and bottom as well to let you know that he's around. You can shoot him and disable it, but certainly the big winner here is Vigil. So for Zero, this is busted. He's not able to counter Vigil. Instead, Vigil is actually able to counter him. Now, seeing that Zero switched off Vigil's ability, what will happen with Warden? So you could say zap Warden just as you're doing like a smoke plant to stop him from seeing through and watching you. So this is what happens when Warden's ability is on and we zap him with the laser. Nothing happens at all. Doesn't disable them, which I was actually surprised by, and that is certainly busted, so he's unable to switch off Warden's glasses once they're on. Now at this point you might be asking, what does this gadget actually destroy and not destroy? So I've put together a small montage of just a few of the different gadgets out there, and the basic kind of rule is anything you can shoot with one shot from a gun will get destroyed by the laser. Anything that takes more than one shot will not get destroyed by this laser. You can destroy frost mats. So with the laser from Zero's gadget, you do get a hit marker when you hit a frost mat. So what I've done here is actually pre-damaged it with a single bullet, and then we're going to hit it with every single camera and try to do some damage, and hopefully enough to actually destroy it. But every single shot goes out and the frost mat remains. So it is busted, cannot destroy frost mats with the laser. Zero has no drop off from his cameras. So this is when shooting the cameras and they just go in a straight line. There's no arc. Although that's what I believed anyway when I first played with them. But I've just fired off 3 cameras there, each at above runway height and each at slightly different intervals. So we should not find them on the runway, but as we run along here and we get to about the 80-meter mark, suddenly we can see there's 3 cameras sitting on the runway, and this should not be the case if there's no drop. So this means there is a drop. So I went and did this, and this is actually funny because I love how this looks. But yeah, you can clearly see the cameras coming in and they do have an arc. Now it's a very shallow arc, so it's not going to be an issue on most maps, but definitely the cameras do actually have a drop. So that is confirmed. So Jaeger can destroy Zero's camera. So we watch here, we've got 3 magpies set up, and yeah, the cameras are getting destroyed instantly as soon as they get into that kind of area of effect of the Jaeger Active Defense, and they're getting destroyed. So you could use these cameras to help burn out, because you've got 4 of them. You could definitely take out 2 Jaegers in total. But if you actually fire them through walls, then of course you could laser the Jaegers instead, because even if it's in the affected range, it doesn't do anything to them. It doesn't intercept them when they're coming through the wall. So this is actually totally viable, and yeah, I'd say Jaeger's a pretty good counter to this new guy, and I'd say that's definitely confirmed. Now we've got another obvious counter here, which is Wamai, and he is able to capture and destroy enemy gadgets. And of course, up against what Grief Drums like to call the Samcam, I think it should be a very easy counter, right? Well, this is a thing that was shown on my original video when I got to play him early. I was like, I'm surprised he doesn't destroy the cameras. A lot of people said, oh, this must be a bug. And I was like, I don't think it is. And it means that really Sam is a counter to Wamai because he can use up the gadgets without his being destroyed. Of course, it makes them more vulnerable, but in this instance, it took Wamai 2 minutes to charge up 4 magnets, and Sam was able to just come in and wipe them out immediately. And because you're getting pulled probably into an objective room with the magnet, you can get on that camera and potentially zap something, taking out another gadget. To me, it kind of seems like Wamai is a bit of a liability when he's up against Zero, which might push down his pick rate when the new season comes out, because of course everyone's going to be rocking Zero. So yeah, I'm going to say busted for Wamai actually being a counter to Sam. But you guys can let me know what you think of this in the comments below. Zero is a counter for Mira. This is something I'm going to bring to the live game, and I think I'm going to enjoy it a lot, because of course Mira is super strong and you're able to actually counter her with Zero. Now it depends on positioning, so this position here is bad. You can't see down because the frame of the actual Mira is so big you can't see it. So you have to actually put the camera underneath the window. That way you can actually look up and then take it out. Now of course you don't have to do this either, because you can come and view the ceiling or the floor as well, or even just slap it on the wall behind the mirror. There's a lot of options here, and this thing has a good range. You can do it from the other side of the room too. And yeah, that's a really good powerful counter against Mira. Mira players are going to have to listen for that noise and then take it out as soon as they can before it has a chance to destroy their window. But that is certainly confirmed. Bandit's electrical effects will counter Zero. So if we're going to be a bad player here and just shoot straight into electrified wire, then the camera gets taken out. Same with electrified reinforced wall, and the same with just hitting a battery directly on as well. So you don't want to have it anywhere near the Bandit stuff. It will take it out if you're close enough to any of that electrical effects. And of course it's the same for Kaid's electrified effects as well. So that is confirmed. Of course you can laser the batteries if you're not too close. Now we move on to Zero versus Muzzy. So this is what I was so disappointed about. The fact that I can't take over these cameras with Muzzy drones. I don't know why I have this fascination, to be honest, because it just seems to me like a great idea. But obviously the developers must have either maybe actually tried it themselves and maybe it was overpowered, maybe it was a bad idea. But I would have loved to have been able to take these over as a Muzzy guy and be able to then of course use them against the attackers, which you could imagine if I poked them through say a reinforced wall and then Muzzy grabs it, he could then turn it around, look back out and potentially shoot at one of our gadgets with the laser or something like that. And that would be cool. So I'm really sad that Muzzy can't take these over. So yeah, busted. Then we've got Zero versus Castle. So the interaction is kind of interesting here. You can penetrate both surfaces with this gadget with no problem whatsoever. It actually goes right through, and yeah, you can see to the other side. You can also penetrate through other gadgets as well, like this one actually went through the bulletproof camera. But yeah, it's kind of odd because it doesn't do any damage to the castle barricade, but it does penetrate. I kind of feel like, to be honest, I don't think it should. Like, it feels like really, yeah, I think I know what the developers are thinking here, but I kind of feel like, to be honest, Castle's barricade should not allow penetration, because, you know, if they can't get shot through by bullets from like snipers and stuff, I don't know if they should be able to poke this camera through it. But that's the way it works, and certainly you can look through the castle barricade, but you cannot affect it. So confirmed for looking through, but busted for destruction. Mute counters Zero. So of course we've got the mute jammers here, and they can be placed up against reinforced walls as well and other places in the map. So if Zero was to say shoot a camera right on top of a mute right here, then it does indeed jam it and you're not able to view it. But anything outside that range, you're gonna be fine. So again, it's smart thinking. If you are placing this say right next to a reinforced wall that's being jammed, that's a bad move. But go up or down and get a destructible surface or another destructible surface, or put it on the wall behind the mute jammer. There's lots of options to counter this, but certainly mute does jam the camera, so that is confirmed. So guys, we're now going to move on to the conclusion of this video, and I think we'll start with a Easter egg, and that is the melee weapon Zero uses in game, and it's this knife. And this is actually the same knife, not just the same style of knife, it is quite literally the same knife that he used in Splinter Cell Blacklist. So he's kept it all these years, and that's a nice little detail, kind of tying back into the games there. There's also a very small detail when it comes to his cameras as well that may or may not come in useful in game when you're playing. So when he fires them into the wall, the side that he fires from, the actual gadget has grey legs. But if you look at the other side, they have green legs. So you can always tell which way Sam is shooting them in as a defender by just simply looking and seeing which colour the legs are. And this may help to just kind of have an idea if he shot it from one side of a wall or another, because you might not know if you're in a certain situation, so maybe it'll be kind of slightly useful. And another small detail that you've probably seen before already is that the reticle and the scope of this little camera launcher has the indications whether you're going to go through one surface or two, which is really cool. It also has it when aiming down sights as well, so you can tell if you're getting single penetration or double penetration. But anyway, let's talk about Sam Fisher's actual role in Rainbow Six Siege, and is he a good addition? So first of all, intel is key in Rainbow Six Siege, and this guy has 4 cameras, 2 drones, he's got a lot of intel gathering abilities, and he can also destroy stuff too, so those are both valuable things to have in Siege. But I do think that he is quite hard to master. Like, he's got quite a hard difficulty curve, because you can just fire those cameras in willy-nilly and do okay, but for the most part you're going to see most of your cameras just get instantly taken out, and you'll have to learn when to send them in, because they do make quite a lot of noise and they are quite visible. So you're going to want to send them in basically when a firefight's starting up, and also you're going to be very careful on where you place them. Now I think, and this is just a kind of feeling, that Valkyrie mains might actually love this guy, because they already know the really good spots to put cameras, and if they just use exactly those same spots, even if they don't penetrate walls, and they're just using known good areas to put cams, they're going to have really good vision on the map very quickly. But of course, if you get more advanced with it and actually start penetrating walls, ceilings, floors, everything you can think of, this guy suddenly gets really creative. And I could also see him teaming up with like Thatcher, so you could like EMP a wall to switch off the electronics, he fires a camera through to then get intel inside and take out any additional gadgets he can see. I think we could see some interesting dynamics going on between different operators. So yeah, I think Sam Fisher's a really good addition to the game, and they've done him right, because he is very Splinter Cell-y. He definitely comes across with the right kind of feel to him when you're playing him. He's also got a good gun. Yeah, there's not really many downsides to Sam Fisher whatsoever. Now of course I should also include how to counter this guy as a defender. So first of all, he makes the goggle noise from Splinter Cell when his cameras punch through a wall or just get placed normally. And also they have this green light that comes off them when they're being used. They're very easy to spot most of the time. Sometimes they can be very well hidden, and if they're not being used, they can be very, very well hidden if they're on a black surface. But they are very vulnerable, only requiring 1 bullet to destroy them from any gun, and of course you can also melee them as well. But yeah, the thing is, when things kick off and there's a big firefight going on and these things just start popping in, and of course you don't want to look away from holding the door to go looking for a camera. Yeah, it can get real intense as a defender up against this gadget and all that intel getting shared, especially with the new Ping 2.0 system as well. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if I've missed anything that you wanted to get tested out and mythbust. Of course, I've also got other Mythbusters out, so I've got one for the brand new secondary hard breach, and I've got one for the Thatcher rework as well. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.